This is MJ, and in today's tutorial I'm going to work through this cute little pineapple, mini pineapple stitch. This is the design that I have in the spring issue of Crochet Foundry. So the yarn that I'm using is Curio. It's a number 3 thread and it is from We Crochet, and I'm using the color Jalapeno. So you need to use exactly 4 balls of a Curio, and I used exactly 4 balls. So if you want to be sure that you don't run short, I suggest maybe picking up an extra ball. You may be able to make it through with only the 4 that I used, 2 for the back and 1 each for the front panels. But if you just want to make sure you don't run out when you're ordering, I would suggest just grabbing an extra just in case your gauge is a little bit different than mine. You will need 2 hooks for the pattern. I'm using a D, which is a 3.25 millimeter, and I'm also using an E, which is a 3.5 millimeter. These are my Furls hooks, and they're great for working with when you're using these smaller sizes. So the size that I'm working on is large, but you will need the pattern in order to follow along with this design. The stitch, there'll be a chart in the pattern, and the repeat is 8 rows, so it can be a little confusing to continue working it without looking at that chart. The chart is extremely helpful to work through the repeat, but I'm going to work through that entire repeat with you. So I'll work through one of my front panels with you, and then I will also show you just the simple way that we assemble this sleeveless cardigan. So what you're going to do is you're going to start out with your smaller hook, so your D hook, and we are going to chain out 81. And I'm going to keep my chain fairly tight as I go. I've worked up 81 stitches, and my chain is fairly tight, not too tight, but I don't want it loose at all. You want a nice clean edge. So now what we're going to do for the next 2 rows is work a single crochets. So we'll work a single crochet in the second chain from the hook. And single crochets all the way along the chain. So you will have 80 single crochet stitches. So you want your chain that you can still work into them. You don't want them too tight that you can't get your hook through, but you don't want them loose either. So I'm going to work my single crochets all the way along. As I went along, and I have 80 stitches, and that just really sets us up for getting into the stitch pattern. So what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to change my hook size. So the smaller hook is just to get the base started. And then we're going to switch over to our E hook, which is a 3.5 millimeter. And we'll start working the pattern. So to begin, we're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And in the third chain, 1, 2, 3, we'll work a single crochet. So now our repeat across is going to be a chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we'll single crochet in the 5th. So we'll skip 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and do a single crochet in the 5th stitch. And we're going to repeat that until we have 2 stitches remaining. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then skip 1, 2, 3, 4, and in the 5th, we'll do a single crochet. So I'm going to repeat that all the way along. Okay, so it's kind of curling here right now, but I've worked that all the way across, and you should have just 2 stitches remaining. We're going to chain 2 and then do a double crochet. It's kind of hard to see the last 2 stitches here, but I've got 2. So in the last stitch, we're going to work a double crochet. So you're basically skipping a chain or a stitch and then a double crochet in the final. Like I say, it's really helpful to follow along with the chart for this. And I actually have to keep referring to it even as I work, just because you can forget what row is what. Okay, so our next row, we'll chain 1 and turn. And I'm going to work a single crochet in the first stitch. Then chain 5. And we're going to work a single crochet in this chain 5 space. And this actually is now the first, this is like the setup row, and then this is the first row of the repeat. So we're going to single crochet. And then in the next chain 5 space, we're going to work 8 double crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, and now we'll work a single crochet in the next chain 5. Chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Work a single crochet in the next chain 5. Chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then a single crochet in the next chain 5. And now we're going to work another 8 double crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So now we're just repeating this. So we're doing a single crochet, chain 5, single crochet, chain 5, single crochet, and then another of the shells, okay? You're going to repeat that all the way along. Okay, so once you work to the end, this is how, so I'm at my shell. We're going to do a single crochet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a single crochet in that last chain space. Okay, and now we're going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And in the chain 5, we'll do a single crochet. And then we'll chain 4. So now in our shell here, we're going to do a treble in the first double crochet. Then we're going to skip the next and we're going to do 4 double crochets. So skip the next double crochet, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we'll skip and then a treble. And then we'll chain 4. 2, 3, 4. Okay, and now in the chain 5 space, we'll work a single crochet. We'll chain 5. And in the next chain 5 space, we'll work a single crochet. And then we'll chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're always chaining 4 before we get, for this row, for when we get to the shell section. So we do a treble, skip, 4 doubles, skip, and a treble in all of our shells. So a treble, skip, a double crochet in the next 4, and then a treble, we'll skip, and a treble. And it's pretty easy to remember it as you're working through the repeat across. I find for me it's just referencing how we're starting and ending. Once you get going, you can kind of memorize this section. So we chain 4, single crochet, chain 5, single crochet, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're back to the same. So you can refer back if you need to, but just repeat that all the way along. Now when we're getting to the end, so I've done my treble, we're going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll single crochet in the chain 5. Then I am going to chain 2 and do a treble in that last stitch. Okay, and now we'll chain 1 and turn, single crochet into the treble, chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll do a single crochet in the chain 4 space, chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to skip the trebles and just work 4 doubles in the 4 doubles. So 1, sorry. 2, 3, 4, chain 3, 1, 2, 3. So skip over the treble and we'll do a single crochet in the chain 4 space, chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Single crochet in the chain 5 space, chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a single crochet in the chain 4 space, and then we'll chain 3 again, 1, 2, 3, and work 4 doubles in the 4 doubles. Okay, so we're skipping the trebles. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. So we chain 3 and a single crochet into the chain 4. chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, single crochet in the chain 5, chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a single crochet in the chain 4. And we're just repeating this pattern all the way across, and this is how it's looking. These are going to end up making sort of what looks like a little pineapple, I think. So I'll meet you up on the end. Okay, so I worked my 4, chain 3, and I single crocheted in the chain 4 space. Now we're going to chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and work a single crochet in this last chain space. And we're going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and turn. And we'll work our first single crochet in that chain 5 space. Chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll single crochet in the chain 3 space. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3. And now we're going to do 2 double crochet in the center 2 doubles. So skip a double, do 2 doubles, and skip a double. So a double, and a double in the next. And then we'll chain 3. 1, 2, 3, and then single crochet in the chain space. And now we'll chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll do a single crochet in the chain 5 space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In the next chain 5 space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're just chaining 5 till we get over here to the chain 3. We'll single crochet, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, skip a double, do our 2 doubles and skip, and then we're just repeating again the same pattern across. Chain 3, chain 3, and single crochet. So I'm going to repeat that all the way along, and I'll meet you up at the end. So I'm just working to the end here. I've made my chain 3 and single crocheted. Now we'll chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, single crochet in the chain 5, chain 2, and a treble in the very last stitch. And this is how it's looking so far. So we've completed the first section. So we have 4 pineapples, and then we're going to start making them going in between here. So now for row 5 of the stitch pattern, we're going to begin by chaining 3. And in our chain space, we're going to work 3 double crochets. Now we'll single crochet in the next chain space. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now we'll single crochet in the top of that first double crochet stitch and chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to skip over this chain here, and in the next chain 5 we'll single crochet, and then in the next chain 5 we're going to work 8 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have 8. So now you want to make sure that you are doing that 8. It's going to be in the center of these two because we're going to be starting that next pineapple. And we'll do a single crochet down in the chain 5. Chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we single crochet up in the top of the first double. Chain 5 again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, in the next chain 5 space we do a single crochet, and then we're back to that center chain 5 where we'll work 8 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and single crochet in the next space. So let's just work that all the way across. Okay, so I'm coming up to the end. I've worked 5, did a single in that double, worked 5, did a single, and then in our final chain we're going to do 4 double crochets. So that makes a half of the shell. Okay, and now we're on to row 6. So we'll chain 3, 1, 2, 3. We're going to work a double in the next double crochet. We're going to skip the next double and do a treble in the next double crochet. So skip and then treble. Then we'll chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And work a single in the chain space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Work a single in the next chain 5 space. And 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to do, like we did in the previous rows, we're going to do a treble in that first double crochet of the shell. Skip the next double and work 4 doubles. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to skip a double and then a treble in the last. And then we chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Single crochet, chain 5, single crochet, chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're back here again. So a treble in the first. We'll skip the next and then 4 doubles. Skip the next double and another treble. and just continue with that pattern all the way across. Okay, so I'm coming here to the end. I've chained 4, work a treble in that first double crochet. We're going to skip the next double crochet and work a double in the next, and a double in the turning chain. Okay, and now we're on to row 7. So only 2 more rows of this repeat. Okay, so we're on to row 7, and I'll chain 3. 1, 2, 3. We're going to work a double crochet in the next double. Then we'll chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Work a single crochet in the chain 4. Chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Single crochet in the chain 5 space. Chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll single crochet in our next space. Then we will chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And now we're working 4 double crochets in the 4 doubles, so we're skipping the trebles. And some of this part is similar to the other part of the pattern. It's just the beginning and the end's different because we're offsetting our pineapples. And then we'll chain 3, single crochet, chain 5, single crochet, chain 5, single crochet, chain 3, and then work the 4 doubles. And I'm just going to keep repeating this across. Okay, and when we get to the end, we're going to chain 3. We're going to skip over the treble. See this here? We're skipping over the treble, working a double crochet in the double crochet and a double crochet in the turning chain. Okay, and now we're to row 8, which is the last row of the repeat, and then you just begin the repeat from row 1. So we'll chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Single crochet, and then we'll chain 5. Single crochet in the next chain 5 space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Single crochet in the next chain 5 space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Single crochet in the next chain space. Chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And then 2 double crochets in the center here. So we're skipping a double, working a double in the next, a double in the next, and we skip the next, we do a chain 3 and a single crochet in the chain space, chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, single crochet in the chain 5 space, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, single crochet in the next chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a single crochet in the next chain space. And then we chain 3 and skip a double and do 2 doubles, and just repeat this across, and I'll meet you up at the end. This is how it's looking. Okay, I'm coming to the end. I'm going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Single crochet, and then we're to the last bit here, and we are going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3, and do a double crochet into that turning chain. And then we're going to start over at row 1 of the repeat. So remember, our first row here with all the chains was our setup row. So row 1 was when we started into the pineapple shells here. So it's a 8-row repeat. So the pattern is just worked in those multiples. So you can follow along with your pattern for the size that you're making, for how many stitches that you need to do for your front and back panels, and then you're just continuing repeating this pineapple stitch until you have your front and back panels made. And then we'll meet up and I'll just show you how to finish it off by seaming and adding a belt. Okay, so once you have all of your pieces made, it's really important that you block them to measurements. So they will block out quite a bit bigger than they'll look, just laying flat. By blocking them, you can stretch out the lace, giving it a really nice look. So I wet my pieces and then I laid them out on these large foam mats, and then I pinned it out to measurement. So the large that I'm working on, I pinned the back panel to 28 inches and 31.5 inches in length, and the front panels were 14 inches in width and the same in length as well, 31.5. So once you've allowed them to fully dry, you can remove the pins and then we'll begin seaming it together. Okay, so I have my garment laid out with my front panels facing the back panel. The right sides are facing. So we're seaming across the top panels, seaming them onto the back. So what I'm doing is I'm using my tails, and you need to make sure that you line up your stitch pattern. So you want your shells together, the chain spaces together, and all the shells as you go along. So you want it all matched up. And when you do the sides, you're going to want to make sure the same thing is done, that everything is lined up correctly, and blocking is going to help that your pieces are all flattened and stretched out as they should be. So this style is not going to have a neck opening. So our front panels are equal to the back panel. So it's just a slit basically to go around. So I've already seamed this side. So I'm seaming in here, basically right beside. And I like to start out just with a knot. And now I have to make sure as I go that the stitch pattern is matching up, because if the blocking was stretched just a little bit off, it may not match up exactly. So you're wanting to pull and make sure that you get your stitch pattern perfectly. So when you're going through the chain, you can just grab one of each loops from your chain, is fine. Just whip stitch it across. And when you get to the stitches, you can go through under both loops of the stitch, is fine. Matching up those stitches as you go. So basically this is all you're going to do all the way across, and just make sure that everything is sewn so that your stitch pattern is matching up correctly. That's the most important thing, which is nice with your handmade pieces, is you can make sure that everything matches nicely. I know sometimes some of the products you buy in the store, things can sometimes not be matched up really well. So a nice handmade piece like this, you can make sure everything lines up perfectly. So I'm going to complete doing that off camera, and then I'll meet you up again just to show you the side seams. So right now I'm just lining up from my shoulder down, and I want to leave a fair size opening for the arm. So I've lined up all these little half shells, making sure that they're all, and if I come down to this one, it's about 12 inches. So I think this would be a nice place to start seaming and working down. And as I work, I'm gonna make sure that all of these little half shells and chains match up correctly. Again, just if there's any discrepancies with how you blocked it, how you stretched it out, you make sure that you sew it so that the stitch pattern is worked correctly. So you just want to take a long piece of yarn, make sure it's a good length so that you're not running out. And you can change this. You could do that your arm opening wasn't quite as big, but I think I'm going to make sure that it's nice and loose and open for the arm area. But you could start it really wherever you want. I'm going to start right here. So that's 1, 2, 3. That's the 4th half shell down. So I'm going to get this started with a knot, and then it's just really important as you work down that you keep adjusting your piece so that everything is lined up. That's the biggest concern I have with you seaming this, is just making sure that your stitch pattern, it just so when you look at the side of your piece, it's going to look really good when it's all lined up correctly. And you're just going to seam this, whip stitch it the same way I showed you with the shoulders. And you can even see as you look the pattern, you want all your openings, your chain openings to all line up together. So it is a little bit time consuming to do this because you want to do it slow and make sure you do it right the first time. You don't want to be redoing it. And if you're really unsure of sort of how big of an opening you want to leave, you could always start from the bottom, working up, and kind of try on as you go to see what you like. Like I may decide this is maybe a little bit too big. Maybe I want to seam it up a little bit more, and I'll come back. If I decide that, I'll come back and tell you, you know, seam, I found this more comfortable, but you're going to be wearing like a tank or something underneath this, so it's okay that it's open and flowy. So I'm just going to continue seaming my sides off camera, and then I'll meet you up when I've completed that. Okay, so I ended up going with a 9-inch opening for my arm, and that still gave me lots of ease. And it was down to about that 3rd half shell. So I seamed up both sides, and I made sure that my stitch pattern, let me just lay this out so you can see how the side looks. So I made sure these shells were all matching up so they almost look here like another pineapple if you look at the side. What's nice when you're finished is to give those seams all a steam. If you have a steamer, just be careful with it, but it's nice just to kind of flatten everything out. And I really love the edging of this, just unfinished. You could always add a single crochet border if you want, but I really just love just the lace work as it is on the arm and the front. I'm just going to lay this out so you can see how the slit works for the neck. So it's not an actual neck opening, it just slits open and hangs nice. You could use this because of the material I've used to crochet it. It's 100% cotton, so you could use this as a beach cover up, just as a beautiful sleeveless cardigan over a tank top. You could also put it over a turtleneck for the warmer weather. It's really such a versatile piece. You can use it for almost anything, and it's so pretty. What I also wanted to add to it was a belt. So you could do an I-cord with a lucite fork, and I will give you the link to the tutorial to do that. For this one, I used 2 strands held together just so it was a little bit thicker, or you could just hold 2 strands together and do a chain just to make a belt to go around your cardigan, just to pull it in, because I think it looks really cute if you tie a belt around the waist just to hold it in, but really you can wear it open as well without a belt. So this is the medium large size. The sizes go from an extra small and small to a medium large and all the way up to 5X. So this pattern is included in the spring issue of Crochet Foundry magazine. You can find the link in the description box. There's 7 beautiful garment designs for spring that I know you're gonna love. So go to the description box, check that out, and after, you will also be able to get the individual pattern on We Crochet's site, but for our launch, you will be able to just get this in the magazine. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Thanks so much for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel.